Hey guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I've got all my dogs out right now. They just got through eating. Preacher! Preacher! Cashmere. They want to go inside, but we're not fixing to go inside. Got my pretty girl Velocity. My beautiful girl Midnight. Midnight, you pretty girl. And let's see. Oh, Tennessee is over here getting some water. Tennessee! Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. What's a good girl? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Did you are. Did you a good girl. Did you a good girl. So, she had her stitches taken out today. So her ears are all healed up and ready to go. So, yes, I see you. I see you. I see you. Yes, I do. I see you. So, anyway. I did the last training with a person that I'd been working with here in Texas. They lived in New Braunfels. They had a boxer that needed some training. And so we did our last training today. It was a really good training, and we had a lot of progress. And, you know, they left knowing, you know, what they needed to do and felt confident in their ability to do it. And they had already, you know, made a lot of progress. So, and that's, you see, Preacher did not put up with that. And that, honestly, it just warms my heart. And on top of that, they said that they had been to see a lot of other trainers, and how they felt like they wish they had met me first. And when I hear that kind of stuff, it really is the best compliment you can get, you know? Because, you know, all I ever want to do is make, you know, just help people have a better relationship with their dog. And that's why I, you know, why I make these videos, is just so that people can better understand their dogs and kind of have a better relationship with them. I swear Midnight thinks that she's a billy goat. She's always wanting to get on top of stuff. And, anyway, it was just a really awesome experience to get to help people, you know, to be able to look at her. She is out of this world. To get to make progress in people's lives like that, or to help people. So, you know, I just had to talk about one of the things that we had talked about, and that, and it's not that they personally did that. We were just talking about, you know, training methods this day and age and stuff like that. And so, you know, one of the misconceptions is that a lot of people talk about positive reinforcement, you know, and especially with treat training. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about how it's awesome and it's better and it's new and it's all this stuff. And I wanted to tell you guys the truth about it, where it comes from, what it was for, and, you know, so treat training originated in people working with wild animals. So we're talking dolphins, killer whales, belugas, you know, any type of animal that's kept for, like in a zoo, like lions, tigers, bears. Basically, it is a food reward to incentivize an animal to perform a behavior. And it works great for that. Okay, it does. It works great for that in dogs too. However, there's a reason that you still hear about orcas and dolphins attacking their trainers, why you hear about lions and tigers and bears attacking their trainers. And that's because just because you can get an animal to perform tricks does not mean that that animal respects you or is obedient to you, meaning that it's going to do something that it doesn't want to do because you asked it to do it. And so those are important factors. Cashmere, get off of her now. She's such a punk. And so anyway, so it, you know, if you are trying to teach an animal to perform a behavior, like you're trying to create an incentive to get an animal's attention to learn a behavior, then sure, you know, a treat can work for that. But, you know, it is not going to work for obedience. And oftentimes when you use markers and like clickers, and you use you know, treats, and you don't use the power of your voice, basically saying, because I told you so. Are you serious, Tennessee? Crazy lady. Yeah, she is. I'm telling you what, man. She's intense. No, you be gentle. You be gentle. You be gentle. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. So, the way I train is that my dogs do what I say because I said to do it. Not because I've got a shock collar that's going to do it, which there's, you know, there are people that use shock collars. You know, I don't use them. So it's really not right for me to speak on them, because it's just not something that I'm educated enough about to have an opinion on. All I know is that I personally have never needed to use them. And so, you know, I just don't. My whole thing is I like to be as natural as possible. I am the alpha of my pack, and I want my animals to respond to me as such, meaning that I don't want it to be a treat or a clicker or anything that gets my dog to behave other than me because I said so. No different than if it was my own daughter. If I tell you to do something, you do it because I said so, not for any other reason. You know, I don't need another reason. It's just the way it works. And so if you need another reason, then there's something wrong, right? If you can't get your dog to behave everywhere, doesn't matter if there's a distraction or not. If, you know, it doesn't, I'm not saying that your dog should act perfectly. All dogs, they're living animals, right? They have their own minds. So, you know, if you're like me and you just have what I would consider to be like a home trained dog, which is like you know, it's not professional. I mean, we just, you know, sit, stay, lay down, you know, come, you know, the basic stuff, and they're just socialized, you know what I mean? Like nothing fancy. You know, if you have a dog like that and you go, you know, to a dog park and you have to tell him more than one time to sit, that's fine. But it's the fact that he sits, you know what I mean? Like you need to be able to get him to sit relatively quickly, and like not have to chase him down. Like, you know, I'm not asking for sheer perfection, but you do want to make sure that that your dog is responsive to you, reasonably responsive to you. So if you have that down, then honestly, that's really all that matters. I mean, the obedient part is what matters. It's not that your dog can sit. It's that your dog can sit in any situation where it would normally create a distraction where the dog wouldn't want to listen, right? So I have a lot of people who say, well, he's great unless this and this is going on, or this and this is going on. It's like, well, sorry, but that doesn't count. Basically, what you're telling me is that your dog listens when he wants to, right? They need to listen all the time, or they're not listening at all. And if you don't, you know, think about it. You know, check your your logic with other things, right? Like if you owned a company and you told an employee to do something and they did it half the time, well, what does that mean? That means that they're not listening to you. It's insubordination. So Kashmir quit it. So it's really important. No. So I didn't like the way she was looking at her, so I had to check her again. No. You're a bad dog. No, I'm not going to pet you because you're bad. You're being bad. Rude. Look at the face of rudeness. Rude. Rude. Shame. That's shame. Shame. So, no. You're a bad dog. I'm not going to touch you. Not going to pet you. You see how she keeps seeking attention? Seeking. She wants me to praise her, but I will not. Not when she acts like that. So anyway, so really important that if you think your animal is disobedient in certain situations, that you check it, that you make sure that you can get that done and it no longer be a problem. And that really just boils down to practice. You're just gonna have to get out there and practice. And the thing is if I've learned anything through working with a lot of people, get this stuff done when they're puppies. You really don't want to mess this up. Because the thing of it is if you go along with those treat trainers, strictly positive reinforcement, I guarantee you're going to have an unruly dog on your hands. And by the time that he's old enough for it to be a problem, for you to really realize you need to crank down on him, they're going to be too big. And you will have played such a low role on the totem pole that by the time you want to reach up and tell them what to do, they're not going to take very kindly to it. And it can be dangerous. So, and that's any dog. I'm not talking about my dogs. I'm talking about any dog. So, it's really important to teach manners, teach respect. These are honestly common themes amongst all social creatures. It really doesn't matter what they are. There are customs and rules of behavior amongst, monkeys, amongst gorillas, which are not monkeys, amongst, dolphins. And I'm very, very well researched on orcas. They're my favorite animal in the whole wide world. And, just in love with their culture, the way that they, orchestrate themselves, and even they discipline. I don't know if you've ever heard of raking, but killer whales can be quite vicious in their disciplinary actions with each other. So even the most sophisticated social mammals still use very physical forms of of communication. And I mean, when you're in the water, there's only so many ways that you can discipline one another. In a wolf pack, it's much easier. You can just put them down. You don't have to, tear them up. But, and it's not to say that, stepping on a rock, it's not to say that killer whales tear each other up, but they have scars on their bodies where they rake each other whenever they want to discipline each other. And dolphins are the same way. They can be extremely disciplinary with one another. Really bang each other up. So, hyenas are another really great example if you want to see a really highly tuned social creature. They have very strict rules of behavior. Lions they do to some extent, but even cats really haven't gotten the whole social living thing down quite as well as everybody else. They can do it, but there's still a lot of friendly fire. There's still a lot of fighting. They have a harder time with it, I think. No, we're not going in. Don't talk to me like that. So, anyway, so it's just important that no matter what you do with your dog, if you want to treat train, whatever, treat train, you want to clicker train, that's fine. But you still got to have your obedience, right? It's like you can't just do arm day all day. You got to do leg day too. And I'm sorry, but obedience is leg day. You know what I mean? It sucks. You don't want to do it, but you know what? You got to do it. And it's because it's your foundation, right? So, and that's what all that other training is going to be built on. and that's what's gonna shape the dog that you take with you everywhere you go. And it's the face of your training. You know, when everyone sees your dog, whenever you go out, that's a representation of you. So you want it to be a finely tuned dog, you know, finely tuned, finely trained. So get your obedience down, and then you can trick and treat train all you want to your heart's content. But you got to make sure that you've got that obedience down, or it's gonna get you in trouble. You know, you can't just have your cake. You know, you just can't. So